Herbal Therapy. Now, Herbal Therapy is you. You are your herbs. You are your therapy. You are what you eat. You are what you think. You are what you feel. You are what you push out if you believe in it. And of course, belief is your power to make things possible. And of course, we make everything possible if we believe in it and put time into it and put energy into it. So if you put a whole lot of time and energy into something, it's going to manifest. And of course, it's going to create in your life. Now, if you're not putting time and putting energy work in, then you're not going to put yourself into a position to have any therapy work in your favors. You can be a workaholic, but that don't mean anything if nothing is working as in a hall for you. You ain't creating your own hole. If you ain't creating your own alcohol to make you feel good. If alcohol is just basically being put into your system for you to be working for it, and it's not producing or creating anything, it's making you all fucked up. And of course, you just basically a workaholic. That's going to be continue to play out the positions and energies of being tired, laid back, and of course, not being able to actually push yourself or penetrate yourself. Okay. Now, herbal therapy is predicated towards how you can heal the body. And of course, you are in the body at the moment, so your body is very important. It's one thing to know that we always hear the terms, take care of yourself, take care of your wealth. And of course, good health brings good wealth. Because of course, if your body ain't right, then what can you basically bring to the tables? Nothing. The only thing you can bring to the tables is that weight. And of course, if that weight is being brought to the tables, think about all the parasites, all the bugs, all the creatures that's going to be roaming around the table. And of course, they're going to be creating more energies, which means toxic energy, dead weight, dead energies. Your body going to be there. Now, the whole table is going to be full of pesticides, full of parasites, full of cockroaches. And of course, you don't want these things to be running around your table. Pretty sure you don't want that shit to basically be near your table when you're eating. So of course, you got to make sure your tables is clean, because the tables can always turn, just like your body, and your health can always turn on you. So your health is key. And of course, if you ain't got the keys to certain areas to know where these anger issues are coming from, then of course, you're going to create more anger within yourself and be mad about yourself, because of course, you can't do anything to help yourself. You keep going to these people not helping you. These individuals don't know anything. They've been around for what, the mid-1800s, and they still can't basically help you with a situation. That goes to show that if you want something done, you have to do it in your way, the way you want to do it. Don't ever rely on somebody to basically do something for you in a way where you want it to be done, because they don't have your mind, they don't have your brain, they don't have your healing abilities. Everybody got their own way, everybody got their own methods, everybody got their own energies and their own routine of doing things. So of course, if you try to mix up your routine with someone else's routine, it's going to take time. And of course, 10 times out of 10, time don't even get met with a fully development. Sometimes you always going to look at the details and be like, wait, hold on, this is not how it's supposed to be. That's not how I like it. And of course, if something that's not working, you need to understand that it's called something that's called transformation. And of course, if you do not know how to transform things and to work in your favors, then of course everything will keep transforming and not working in your favors. And of course, if shit is not working in your favors, you're always going to feel frustrated, you're always going to feel mad, you're always going to feel angry. So of course, you want to make sure you put yourself in a position where you can always be fulfilled in areas that you want to make sure the water is flowing and filling. Because of course, you can be on top of the mountain all the time, but if the waters is not connecting right, then and the waters is not flowing right, and the waterfalls is not helping you, then of course you're going to fall hard. And of course, you don't want to fall hard. You want to make sure you're strong, because if you fall too hard, you're going to hit a rock. And of course, you don't want to be a rock. You don't want your immune system to become a rock. So you got to take care of your health. Baby, you know health is wealth. So the key to taking care of your health is knowing how to become your own healer. And if you don't know how to become your own healer, then of course you're going to allow somebody to basically play with your shit. You don't want nobody to be playing with your health. I mean, somebody playing with your health, they got to go. They got to die. And it's very important and highly important to know that your health is in the hands of you. Your spirit knew what it was doing when it created this body, when it was creating you. So never ever look outside yourself or underestimate yourself to try to look for help when it comes to looking towards your health. Know Once you know everything about energy, you will know where the energy flows. It's always good to question things and not look outside or do research about shit. Sit still sometimes. See how you can just basically sit still and figure out why you're feeling like this, or why certain areas in your body is catering to these energies. Of course, the rivers is flowing every day. Body movements and body cells is always flowing. Sometimes these cells can get hit with resistance, and of course, if it get hit with resistance, you're gonna feel that shit because you are the being of this body that you in at the moment. So of course, whatever's going on in your body, whatever is fluctuating in your body, you're gonna know, and of course, you're gonna point things out. And it's always important to basically do things and take care of things right away. Never wait too long for things to become more problems or more burdens. When things become more problems and more burdens, now you got a burden on your back, and of course you don't want no burdens on your back. You want to make sure the burden that's on your back is not becoming a burden to become snap. And you don't want to snap, because when you snap, you're going to snap. And of course you don't want to be a snapple in the apple. Because you don't want to be that mouse that got caught in the snapple, which means you got caught into so many feelings, so many emotions about what you need to do about your health, when 10 times out of 10 all you had to do was look in the mirror and figure out the steps that you needed to take by yourself. And of course, nobody cares. Nobody gonna love you or care about you like you love and care about yourself more. Why? Because we have our own problems to basically be worrying about. So what makes you think someone out of the ordinary is gonna basically be here to basically take care of you and be like, oh, by the way, you gotta do this and do that. Yeah, it's good to always listen to advice, but of course, if it don't connect with your gut, which is the first instincts that you basically gonna pick up, then of course you shouldn't even be wasting your time developing or digesting information, because remember, whatever you're digesting is what you're creating, and of course whatever goes inside of you is going to basically come out of its way in some way, and of course wherever it comes out is going to have to basically expire. And of course when things expire, it can't be used anymore. It means energy can never be destroyed, it can only be reciprocated. So of course, wherever you're reciprocating your energy to basically be destroyed out of you, that's your property. And of course, if you're not in control of your property, then somebody else is going to be in control of your property. Somebody's going to be basically tainting your waters, fucking up your paint, fucking up your arts, your aesthetics. And of course, you don't want nobody to basically be playing around these areas. Make sure these areas aren't decent. Make sure these areas are abundant for you to basically create your own fruit, create your own trees, to basically eat your own shit and not give a fuck about it. Because of course, this is what you basically created. This is your goal. This is how you see things. And of course, there's many ways to see things in life. Sometimes people basically get stuck into this goddamn life. And of course, it's cool to see how this life is and experience it. But the moment you get too stuck into it, that's what things fuck up. But 10 times out of 10, when we're talking about herbal therapy, problems can arise anywhere in your body. Anywhere. That's why it's highly important to basically even know about the astrology shit. Because the astrology shit gonna basically point you in a direction you need to be basically knowing about, to basically pinpoint areas that's hurting you, or basically bringing some understandings towards your way. And of course, if you're always understanding somebody, standing under somebody, then you're always going to get under the motherfucking bridge, and basically people going to ride you. Just go right over you, walk over you. And of course, this plays out into all positions. And of course, your health is key. If you ain't got the key, you ain't got the juice. So now let's get into these energies real fast of what's going on. So now, when we're talking about things in perspective, always look at the root cause. You always want to look at basically the root cause when we're talking about situations like this. For instance, one root that's good for you is beets. Now y'all like, we've seen beets, we know what beets is. Yeah, beets means that you can basically eat beets, cut them up, and of course use them to basically get some energy inside of you, get some blood flow inside of you. So of course, if blood is not flowing within your body, then that means there's a situation. That means the toilet is not being flushed. That means somewhere in your body you have some conflict. And of course, in order for things to basically get moving or flowing, get you some beets. Beets is red. What does red means? Red means passion, motivation, energy, and of course, heaviness. So of course, when you eat this beets, it's going to go in your body. And of course, it's going to create mechanisms that can basically make things start flowing in your body, make you start moving around and shit. And of course, it's good. Basically, it's going to give you some stamina. Of course, if you ain't got a lot of stamina, you ain't got a lot of energy, you ain't feeling right, Feel me? The beets gonna help you out. Beets is basically good for you. Feel me? It's gonna give you that determination, that drive, and that push that you basically need to basically get shit going. Especially when you wake up in the rising, you feel that you don't have a lot of energy. Beets is your motherfucking friend. Yeah, it's not your enemy, but it's your friend. What's gonna become your enemy is the issues that's conflicting in your body. Of course, if these issues not taken care of, you know down in the long run, you know how that will play out. Also, carrots is good for you too. Carrots is basically pretty much orange. So pretty much what orange represents optimism. Orange represents intellect, insight. So of course, if you're basically trying to get information about something or trying to know something, you can eat you some carrots. Of course, carrots is going to pretty much play out. They say carrots is good for the eyes. Carrots is good for whatever, where you can basically be able to see. And of course, have insight about things and basically look deeper into situations and have a deeper root cause about what you're basically trying to find out. So if you're trying to figure out some information, or if you're basically trying to develop some information, carrots is basically would be a good penetration to basically put inside you. And of course, them juices is very wonderful and very good. Of course, you got to have the right juices basically to go into your body. And of course, carrots is basically good for the immune system too. And of course, it helps build up the immune system. Make sure it gives you some information. You feel me? Your body needs information. Your body needs some light, something to basically keep it going. If you don't eat, what happens is you are not expanding. That means your expansion and contraction is not basically going nowhere. You're basically, what you're doing is contractions. You're not really moving around. You're not basically pushing. You're not moving forward. So it's going to be issues that play in that perspective. Also, if you want some, what you can also look at is radishes. Radishes is basically good for new energy. So if you're basically trying to start like a new plan or a new diet, or if you're basically trying to get into a new rhythm or a new spectrum where you could basically try to like start a diet or start something, new radishes is basically good for you too. Radishes is good for you. That'll basically help you out, pretty much isolate you from certain areas. Like if you don't want to eat certain foods, you would use radishes, because radishes is basically pure right, and white basically bring new information, new insight. So of course, this can be a position in where, you know, if you have a whole lot of dark ideas and dark concepts that you're basically stuck onto, you can basically use some radishes. For me, do a little bit of programming, make sure that energy is working for you. And of course, when you put this in your body, it's going to basically punctuate. So of course, every time you eat those radishes, you program that radishes to make sure it's working for you and working into your favors. Of course, everything will be good to you. Also, if you get some rutabagas, rutabaga is basically good for cancer cells and things of that matter and stuff like that. It basically help remove anything of that nature. Pretty much, rutabaga is basically, it's orange, so it's basically going to also be good for like the heart. I mean, it's yellow. It's going to be good for the heart. Good for, like, you know, if you got heart problems and shit like that, or if you're basically dealing with these issues, if you got gas in your chest and stuff like that, or breast cancer and things like that. Right, rutabaga is basically good for that. For me, you don't really got to get those things chopped off. You could basically, you know, eat a whole lot of fruits, whole lot of vegetables, and carrots is also good for that too. You could basically do like a little mix, a little blender, and basically blend all those juices up. Basically, also bananas is basically good. You basically get a little bit of that potassium, a little bit of that energy, and that little drive to basically get shit going. Also, if you got any weaknesses or spine issues, rutabaga is basically good for you too. Especially, it's good for the back and weight loss and shit like that. That basically help you out. Also, gut areas and shit. If you got a gut that you're trying to get rid of, that'll basically help you with some weight loss and shit like that. And of course, it'll bring you optimism, happiness, because of course that's what the sun does. Also, if you want to put yourself in a position, it's also going to basically bring enlightenment, insight, and of course vision. Good vision. Of course, your vision fucked up, that's good for it too. Cinnamon is basically good for grounding yourself, being stabilized, and of course good for growth, good for areas with your skin and stuff like that. That's basically, like, if you're trying to get practical and get stable and shit, get a lot of energy, and you want to connect with people and places and things, get you some cinnamon. That's good for like the tea and shit like that. Ground you, get rid of any diabetes, good for hair growth and stuff like that too. And also, you basically chocolate milk is good for that too. You know, give us a little bit of chocolate, get some information. Kale, good for like growth, good for things that's basically like whatever you're trying to grow, like skin, blood cells, and things. If things are stuck in your body, things is not moving, it's good for that. That's good for growth. Also, if you want to basically get into programming of the pink grapefruit brings youthfulness, happiness, and of course, it'll put you into a position where if you're not doing good down there with your partner, whether it's a chick or a male, you know, that basically bring you some lustfulness, some happiness, some creativity, where y'all both could be fucking good and shit like that. But you know, this is pretty much the fruits that you could use to program to help you go in your favor.